Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. This is a new presentation from www.central-mosque.com and from the Humble Heart YouTube channel. We are going to talk about Tawassul and Istighathah in Islam. Hmm, two terms here, Istighathah and Tawassul. Let's discuss them separately. The one who testifies to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah is a Muslim. The core concept is Allah is our Rabb, Allah is our Master. Calling for help, worshipping, bowing, prostrating, seeking help from someone other than Allah is haram, and this is istighatha in a nutshell. Tawassul is seeking help directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but having intermediaries either as object, action, or people, and it has many conditions in it. When it comes to affairs and issues of this world or the dunya, we regularly seek help from doctors, engineers, plumbers, electricians, and none of this falls into the category of istighatha or forbidden tawassul. The first form of permissible tawassul is making dua directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but mentioning your good deeds done to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is mentioned in authentic hadith, the story of the people that were caught in a cave and they invoked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by mentioning their good deeds, and Allah ta'ala relieved them from their suffering. Tawassul of a living person is also permissible. We know the incident mentioned in Sahih Bukhari where Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu made tawassul of Abbas radiallahu anhu, who was alive at that time. Tawassul of a deceased person is also permissible according to Salaf and a vast number of ulama apart from Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala. The evidence is the narration of Uthman bin Hunayf radiallahu anhu, who narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised a blind man to make tawassul of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his lifetime. Uthman bin Hunayf radiallahu anhu then advised someone of making tawassul of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had passed away. The narration of Uthman bin Hunayf radiallahu anhu is authentic, and we will discuss the objection of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala a little later. To make tawassul of the most beautiful, majestic names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-asma'ul husna, for example, saying Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Dhal Jalali wal Ikram, is not only permissible but commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Qur'an. Let's now turn to the objections of the internet warriors. What they do is they lump all kinds of issues together and try to confuse everybody else. So let's address the objections in a systematic manner as to what tawassul is all about. What they will do is they will send you pictures and instances of people at shrines prostrating, bowing, or seeking help from other than Allah. That's not an example of tawassul. That's istighatha. It is shirk. It is haram. It is not related to tawassul at all. Next, you need to understand that we cannot limit or obligate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our du'as. In fact, it is shirk. So, even making tawassul of the majestic names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not obligate Allah to accept your du'as. That is also not an example of tawassul at all. So, what is the response to those who say that the tawassul of the deceased is not permissible? And they quote this narration of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, who sought rain from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the tawassul of the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had passed away. The scholars of hadith have mentioned that that narration of Umar radiallahu anhu is not an example of tawassul but a request for dua. The request for dua can obviously only be made from someone who is alive. Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala has supported this position in Fath al-Bari, the most authentic commentary of Sahih Bukhari, that it was a request for dua and not tawassul. So the scholars have given a ruling that tawassul of living or deceased is permissible, and there's no difference between the two because we have no evidence, no clear-cut evidence whatsoever to forbid or to declare the tawassul of deceased impermissible. The only way to confuse this is to pit tawassul versus istighatha. That's the reason I've gone out of my way to explain both of these concepts in detail. And we should only worship, prostrate, and seek help from Allah alone. So if a Muslim makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exclusively but makes tawassul of, let's say, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala, mentioning his services to the religion of Islam, those who object to the tawassul of deceased provide clear-cut evidence in the comment section. Some ulama and many others prefer the tawassul of the great majestic names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Asma'ul Husna, and that's fine and down to personal preference. That still does not negate tawassul of the deceased. I'm adding a detailed article on Istighathah in the description section of this video. Please review it. Please also review the Tawassul article in the description, understand both concepts clearly, and then feel free to comment below. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.